thing that I forgot to mention that is also very important is that we are going to be offering a service to guarantee the experience of the traveler in Mexico, which means that we're going to be offering, we're working with the private industry, or working with all the suppliers and the different governments of all the states. We're going to be offering, for instance, whenever we have a traveler from a destination, if they have an incident with their experience, they're going to be able to call us, and we will take care of that experience right away. In other words, like if they got to their hotel and the hotel was like not what they expected, we will call them and figure out what happened there. For that, there's a lot of work that is being done now, which means from certifying the different providers to certifying the taxi driver to the guide that provides the tourist. I mean the guide that provides the explanation of the museum for the museums, the activities. Everything is going to be certified. The entire process from beginning to the end. So, and what we want to do is we want to guarantee the experience. So if there's an incident or the need for information or a requirement, they are going to be able to call us. And in the first phase, we'll have someone who can answer Spanish, English, or French. Second phase, we will include more languages. Okay? So, but they would have the support and someone who will be responsible, like taking the ownership to help you through the process, right?
It's like an after-sales service.
Exactly, exactly. Okay.
What are you doing as an organization to attract more business and conventions to Mexico?
Conventions,
meetings and conventions.
Meetings and conventions. We're going to be, we have assigned a team full-time just for that segment. I don't know if you have met the director, he's somewhere in the Tianguis, but something else that we're doing, because that's a unique segment that we have to promote in a very unique space. We're going to be participating in some fairs, right, and in some sessions that they have. For instance, one that is very popular in the case of the US is NBTA. We'll be participating in NBTA in August in the US, and in Europe there's another one, I think is ACTE, the name. There are several of those, and the idea is that we want to go to those sessions, talk to the meeting planners, the organizers of the conventions, and talk about the offers, and talk about the sites that we have, where can they host their meetings, and invite them to come to our destinations.
Anything in terms of infrastructure, new buildings or new technology or anything like that?
Well, we have invested a lot in infrastructure. The President Calderon is very committed to infrastructure, and if you look at the numbers, the investment so far is twice as much as the previous president had, and 3 times the one before. And he has a very aggressive plan in continue investing. There has been a lot of investment in conventions and convention centers, and we still have a couple in the pipeline. What we need to do a better job is promoting those and making sure that the rest of the world, they know what we have to offer. Because we have a lot of convention centers throughout the country that they can host big conventions.
So yesterday you showed a map of some of the new routes, and some of them were actually, it looked like they were connecting to Europe and Asia. Are these new routes specifically just domestic, or are you linking them like the Silk Route you mentioned to other parts?
I wasn't the one who mentioned that. They were saying, oh, the Silk Route. That was, I think, the expert that we had in the cultural tourism, right? The routes or routes or circuits that I'm talking about, those are domestic, domestic within Mexico, right? Yeah. And all the routes, the 10 routes are covering all the states. Every single state, every single important place in Mexico is included in a route.
And have some hotels been specifically identified along these routes to be partners?
Several hotels. Okay. Depending on the preference of the traveler, there are hotels from 5 to 6 stars to 1 star.
But some have been identified already that the travel agents will be able to work with if they want to sell the route.
The idea is we're working with the associations of the hotels and different chains, and that's part of the process. We'll help them to be certified. It has to be a process that is simple, easy, clear, so that you know the standards and we can set the expectation of the traveler. And at the same time, what we want to do is those hotels will be uploaded on what we call the Atlas, which is a database with all the suppliers that they will be certified, and the traveler will be able to choose. But there will be some pre-packaged arranged so that they can already have their hotels. And if they don't have a hotel, they can book that directly as well, or to a travel agency.
Okay. Can you tell me, please, the objective identifying the
Say that again?
Three adjectives identifying
Mexico. Well, Mexico has diversity in terms of culture, the history. You will see, someone yesterday was telling me, it's like every single state is like a small country, pretty much. And if you had a chance to walk around, you will see that firsthand, right? So the diversity that we offer, in my mind, is unique. The second one that is also very important is a very rich country in terms of cultural and history. We have a lot to offer in terms, I mean, our culture and our history is for thousands of years, no? Which is something very interesting. We have from the Mayas to the revolution to the independence, whatever is the topic, you will find Mexico fascinating in terms of history. And the third one, which is the most important one in my mind, is the hospitality of our people. It's part of our culture, it's part of our nature. And the Mexicans I mean, we offer usually our homes to whoever comes from outside, and even that if that's a poor house, it's clean. I mean, and they offer you probably the only bed that they have, but that's part of the nature, right? So the hospitality. And for instance, we have had several surveys. Last year, we interviewed 26,000 tourists from outside of the country, and it was very interesting. Every single one, we asked them to rate our hospitality, and it was like the marks were from 1 to 10, and they gave us between 9.5 and 9.7. Which is pretty high, which is validating the hospitality that we offer in Mexico, right? But we need to work with some training also them, giving them the right tools so that they can continue improving the level of service that they provide.